Imagine calculating massive totals, averages, highest values, and counting records, literally in seconds, instead of doing everything manually. Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to demystify the absolute essential Excel functions that every beginner needs to know.
We've all been there, right? Punching numbers into a desk calculator one by one, absolutely terrified of making a single typo that just ruins the entire sheet. Imagine the sheer time wasted on manual math. But what if you could automate all of that? These built-in tools we're looking at today are going to instantly relieve that pain and totally transform how you handle your data. Here is our game plan for today. We'll start with the power of functions, move on to adding fast with sum, finding the middle with average, spotting extremes with max and min, tallying records with counts, and finally, we'll test your new skills.
All right, section 1, the power of functions. So what exactly is a function? Simply put, it's a predefined formula that performs calculations automatically. Think of them as your built-in, invisible calculators handling all the heavy lifting behind the scenes. You don't have to tell the software exactly how to do the math every single time. You just hand it the right function, point it at your data, and boom, it does the work.
And why does this matter? Well, the benefits are just massive. First off, they save you an incredible amount of time and cut down on tedious manual work. Plus, they seriously improve your accuracy because, let's face it, human error is completely removed from the actual calculation. And best of all, you can handle massive data sets effortlessly. 5 rows or 5,000 rows, the function doesn't care. It works exactly the same way. Moving right along to section 2, adding fast with sum. The syntax here is beautifully simple. You just type an equal sign, the word sum, and then your range in parentheses. By grabbing a range, like A1:A3, you're telling the software to include everything from cell A1 through A3. No more painstakingly typing A1 plus A2 plus A3. What a relief, right? Let's make this real. Say you have a specific set of numbers, 1,000, 2,000, and 3,000. Doing this by hand is a drag, and if one of those numbers changes tomorrow, you'd have to calculate the whole thing all over again. But with our sum formula, you get an instant, perfectly accurate result of 6,000. And the real magic, if you change that first entry from 1,000 to, say, 5,000, your final total updates instantly on its own. It's brilliant. You are going to use this every single day. Sum is your go-to for totaling up weekly sales, tracking monthly expenses, running salary calculations, or balancing budget reports. It's literally the most widely used function out there for a very good reason. Next up, section 3, finding the middle with average. Just like we did with sum, the setup is a breeze. You just type equals average and highlight your desired range inside the parentheses, like B1 through B4. The software instantly knows exactly what to do from there. Imagine you're looking at a set of student marks, or maybe performance scores, 50, 70, 80, and 90. To find the mean the old-fashioned way, you'd have to add the whole lot up and then divide by 4. Not anymore. The average function instantly spits out 72.5. No complex addition, no manual division. This is absolutely perfect for analyzing weekly sales trends, grading student marks, or really any kind of baseline performance analysis you need to run. All right, on to section 4, extremes with max and min. Look, when you're staring at a massive wall of numbers, trying to spot the biggest or smallest value by eye is just a recipe for a headache. That's where these come in. Max finds the absolute highest value in your selected range, while min hunts down the lowest. The formulas are super straightforward. Equals max or equals min, followed by a range like C1 through C5. So running these against some sample numbers, 1,000, 3,000, 1,500, 8,000, and 2,500, we can instantly pull our top performance of 8,000 using max and zero in on our lowest expense of 1,000 using min. Think about how useful this is for instantly spotting your best sales day of the month or pinpointing where your lowest expenses are. Let's look at section 5, tallying records with count. Now, here is a really interesting little quirk about the count function. Let's say you have cells with 10, 20, and 30, then a cell that literally just says text, and then another with 50. Well, count specifically ignores text values. It is strictly looking for and counting your numeric data. Because of that, when we run our formula, equals count D1 through D5, the result is exactly 4. It skipped that word completely.
This makes it an absolute lifesaver for auditing the total number of numeric transactions, verifying active records, or just making sure all your numeric entries are accounted for without getting tripped up by text notes or headers.
Finally, Section 6. Let's test your new skills.
I want you to actually try this out. Open up a blank spreadsheet and create this exact sales data set. Just drop these 5 numbers into a column: 1,200, 1,500, 1,800, 2,000, and 2,200. Once you've got those in, I want you to work your way through these 5 practical calculations. First, get the total using sum. Then, find the average sales. After that, pull the highest sale using max, the lowest sale using min. And finally, count the total entries. Getting hands-on like this is really going to cement everything we cover today about letting these functions do the heavy lifting for you. So here's a question to leave you with. If you applied just these 4 tools, sum, average, max min, and count, to your daily workflow, how many hours of tedious manual math could you literally eliminate this week? Once you experience the magic of these essential formulas, you'll be totally primed for our next explainer, where we're going to tackle the incredibly powerful fill handle and autofill features. Until then, get in there and start experimenting.
Thanks for listening, dropping by, getting high on my vibe.